What's going on there, YouTube, and welcome back to another comic book video. Okay, so we are going to do a Superman story. Matter of fact, it's going to be an action comic story, but it comes out of the New 52. Now, this storyline right here does take place right after Superman Doomed. Now remember, when it came to Superman Doom, it was all about the idea that Superman was turned into Doomsday. It was pretty crazy. But on top of that, the Earth was attacked by Brainiac. Now Superman and his friends were able to actually stop Brainiac and turn Superman back to normal. Now this is technically the aftermath of that storyline right there. Because right now you have Superman trying to help Smallville out. Because Smallville was one of the cities that was actually attacked by Brainiac, and of course, being a small town, it got hit pretty hard. And so right now it is Superman just trying to be a great hero and help with the rebuilding of his hometown. But this is going to lead into the Nightmare storyline that we're going to cover for Superman in this story. And so as we dive into this storyline, there is one more thing I do want to mention, and that is the death of Lana Lang's parents. Now that actually happened in Superman Doom storyline. And matter of fact, it's going to be very important for this storyline right here. Now with that being said, when it comes to Lana Lang's parents dying, it does affect her, but also affect Superman as well. And the reason why, because in the New 52, Superman parents died. Now right after they had died, Lana Lang's parents took him in like they were his parents, like they actually did care for him for a short period of time. Now with that being said, they died in Superman Doom. And so as we jump into this storyline, you have her right now having a nightmare and basically remembering that her parents are now dead. Now at this point in DC Comics, she's also dating John Steel, better known as Steel, the superhero that works alongside Superman. But right now you have Steel and also Lana, kind of like Superman, trying to help rebuild Smallville after Brainiac had attacked this area. And so when we do see John and Lana about to begin their day, of course they do run some people who are technically in Smallville, some older people who've been there for so long and they're always happy. And right now they're definitely happy about the idea of their town being rebuilt. Now of course, right before our heroes are about to begin their day into helping out the city, well that is the moment Lana Lang sees a hearse drive by. Now when she does see it, she's kind of like, you know what? I want to follow that hearse. Now, honestly, she does not tell us nor John why she wants to follow the hearse, but she feels like she has to follow it, which of course they do follow it. Now when they do arrive at the cemetery. Now when they do arrive, they are confronted by the sheriff of Smallville, who unfortunately has bad news for Lana Lang. And the bad news right now, somebody had dug up her parents' grave. And that right there, again, is going to be very important for this storyline. But here is another problem, because out of nowhere, this random mist has now covered the city completely. And the question is right now, why does this mist look so scary looking? What is about to happen now in Smallville? But then we actually pick up with Superman. Now when we do, this is Superman right now technically flying over to Smallville to make sure that everything is a-okay. The problem is though, while he's heading over to that direction, he realized that Smallville is right now covered in that random scary looking mist. Now he does try to fly through the mist, but here comes the problem, because when he tries that, he does get teleported to the other side of Smallville. And so right now, Superman cannot get inside Smallville at all. Now with that being said, he does call up Toyman in the New 52. Now when it comes to Toyman in the New 52 hero, he's supposed to be, I want to say, the smartest person in the world, or top 5 smartest person in the world. Either way, he's very smart. And right now is Superman hoping that Toyman could be able to figure out what in the world is happening right now when it comes to Smallville. Unfortunately, you have Toyman say, when I use my satellite to look at the Earth, right now, I cannot see Smallville at all. And that right there is very scary. And so now it's him saying, I have to get inside there to actually figure out what in the world is going on with Smallville. But then we have to jump back over to Lana Lang Steele and also the sheriff of Smallville, who is still right now in the cemetery. But the problem is though, they got separated because when the mist came in, unfortunately, it made them go in different directions. And so right now they're trying to find each other. Now the sheriff, unfortunately, he is about to die very soon. But when it comes to Steele, he's right now trying to find the woman he loves, which of course is Lana Lang. But for Lana, she's kind of like, okay, I have to find Steele. But unfortunately, she does not find Steele. She finds her parents. Now, these are her parents right now who are technically zombies, but right now they're being controlled by some other being that apparently came with this mist that has covered up Smallville completely. And so right now, the question is, who is this creature and why in the world did he dig up her parents' grave? Because when it comes to Smallville, a lot of people did die when it came to Brainiac attacking the Earth. And so right now, why did this creature only pick 2 people? And of course, the 2 people are her parents. And so then we jump back over to Superman, who's right now talking to Toyman about the idea of trying to find a way into Smallville. Now, that is the moment where you do have Toyman say, yo, I just realized something. When it comes to my tech right now, it picked up some kind of pulse. And that pulse is beating in a certain kind of way. But I realize if you do attack the actual mist on a 3rd beat, you should be able to actually get inside the city and begin the process of helping the people out in the city. And so you then have Superman being able to follow the beat. And when he hears the 3rd beat, bam, he's able to get into Smallville. But this is only going to make things even worse. Now, when he does arrive inside the city, he does realize that right now there's some kind of creature that's right now about to attack Lana. Now, Superman is able to actually attack the creature and get rid of the creature. But that is the moment he realized the creature was actually controlling the dead bodies of Lana Lang parents. Now, again, for Superman, that is hard to see because he loved her parents like they were his parents as well. Because again, they took him in after his parents had died. But on top of that, he feels like Lana blames him for the death of her parents. And so right now, he feels very, very responsible for the death of her parents. And so you do have Superman actually apologize because he knows right now for Lana, this is very hard to actually go through about the idea of seeing your parents again, except this time as zombies and being controlled by some random creature. Yeah, that right there is very hard to actually go through. But at the same time though, for Lana, she still technically blames Superman for their death. Now, she did tell him that she did forgive him, but in reality, she hasn't worked through all the grieving process when it comes to her death of her parents. And so even though she did tell him, I forgive you because you were trying to save the earth, at the same time, she still blames him. Now, he does tell her that he'll try his best to make things better in Smallville by getting rid of this mist that covered the entire city completely. That is right now keeping them trapped inside the actual town. Now, you do have Superman try to leave, try to get back outside the city. The problem is though, now he is trapped inside the city. And so every single time he flies to the very end of the city, he is teleported to the other side of the city to say, there's no way out now. You are stuck here inside with the rest of the people of Smallville. Good luck of trying to get out of here right now. But the question is again, what in the world is going on with this mist? And so while you have Superman right now trying to escape Smallville by just flying all over the city, you then pick up with a set of characters right now who are technically talking in a way like they know what is actually happening right now when it comes to Smallville. Like they know a whole lot more than we do, and even Superman. They know a whole lot more about this mist. Now with that being said, they then say, what are we going to do with Superman? Because right now, he is technically about to make things a whole lot worse. But But then we come to find out these older people right now are not the only ones who are aware of what's happening right now when it comes to Smallville. That matter of fact, a lot of people in this area right now are technically knowing what's happening right now when it comes to Smallville, but all their eyes are glowing yellow. Kind of seems like right now the population of Smallville has been officially taken over by some kind of new creature or character. And so when we jump into the second chapter of the storyline, we actually do pick up right now with Toyman arriving to the outskirts area of Smallville. Now, when he does arrive, he does see Superman right now trying to escape Smallville. But unfortunately, every single time you have Superman reach the very end of Smallville, he is then teleported somewhere else in Smallville and just stuck in there just trying to escape over and over again. Now for Toyman, he finds this very interesting and he wants to learn a whole lot more about it. But at the same time though, he has to get to work to technically save Superman and the rest of the people of Smallville. Now, getting back over to Superman, you do have him right now still trying to escape Smallville. Unfortunately, Homeboy cannot escape at all because while he's trying to escape, that is the moment where his mind is actually attacked. Now, with his mind being attacked, he does fall to the ground, but then he's surrounded by people who live in Smallville. And of course, right now, they're trying to talk to him and they tell him, do not worry, Superman, because we believe that you are going to save the day. But then we get this flashback. Now, when it comes to this flashback, we do get a young Lana Lang and a young Clark Kent, who is right now playing outside, having a good old time. And matter of fact, they're at school, which means that this is outdoor recess. Now, with that being said, out of nowhere, we do get this wildfire. Now, when it comes to this wildfire, of course, you do have all the kids run inside to be safe. The problem is though, Clark did not run inside because this is young Clark who's right now trying to use the powers that he knows about to be able to save people who could be trapped inside the wildfire. But here's the thing though, his powers are technically not working like they should when it comes to this wildfire. Now we do see some people being able to actually get away, but they do say they did see someone else who is right now trapped inside the wildfire. And so this is Clark right now trying to save that person. But apparently Clark saw something else, some kind of monster, some kind of creature. And so that is the moment where we do see Superman wake up in the present day to come to find out that he had actually dreamed that flashback. Now, when he does wake up, he is confronted by John and Steel. Now, this is John and Steel just making sure that Superman is A-okay, which he is. But then you have an older fellow walk into the room. Now, when it comes to this older fellow, he's right now a tad bit too calm. And what I mean by that is, to Clark, Lana, and John, they feel like the people of Smallville should be very worried about the idea that right now their city is technically right now trapped inside some kind of mist. But the thing is, the people of Smallville are not scared. They're not worried. They're not concerned. They're technically calm. And that right there is freaking out Clark, John, and also Lana, because right now it seems like maybe the people are right now being taken over by something. But on top of that is Clark wondering, is this another attack by Brainiac in some kind of different way? A backup plan just in case he had failed against Superman, which he had did back in Superman Doomed. Now we do briefly jump over to Toyman. Now when we do, this is Toyman right now having fun with the idea that he's being teleported all over the outskirts of Smallville. He's kind of like, man, I gotta figure out how this works, because once I do, I'm gonna try my best to actually sell this and make a lot of money out of this. Except that is the moment out of nowhere you do have a random tentacle appear, and when it does, it grabs Toyman and brings him right into Smallville. And so now he's also trapped inside Smallville along with Clark, Lana, and John. But getting back into Smallville, we actually do pick up right now with Superman along with Lana and also Steel. And you do have the three characters right now trying to address the public of Smallville by saying everything is going to be a-okay. Once we're able to actually figure out what in the world is going on right now, then everything should be better after that. The problem is though, the people are still way too calm, and that right there is very concerning. Now, you do have Superman, Lana, and also Steel begin to work together to figure out what in the world is happening right now in Smallville. Now, they do detect some kind of energy signature, and when they try to follow it, they do follow it to a certain spot. And of course, that spot is where Superman had fought Doomsday only a few weeks ago in the New 52 timeline. And matter of fact, the very beginning of Superman Doom. And so right now they're wondering, why is this spot right here releasing so much energy at the moment? Now, when they look in the sky, they do see a bunch of clouds, but the clouds are beginning to spread apart. And that's when they see some kind of portal is beginning the process of opening up. Except that is the moment where you actually do have the population of Smallville begin the process of actually attacking the mind of Superman. Yes, you heard that right. The population of Smallville is right now attacking Superman as he tried to fly towards the clouds that were opening up some kind of portal. Now that is the moment where we kind of find out is Toyman inside that portal calling out for help. Really, he's actually screaming for help. Either way right now is Superman saying, I have to go help my friend. The problem is though, when it comes to the population of Smallville, they're kind of like, no, do not open that portal. Do not do what you want to do. Do not try to be a hero. Now that right there is actually very important. But now you have Superman realize the people of Smallville, they have powers and they have psychic powers. And that right there is actually very huge because this could be a side effect thanks to Brainiac attacking Smallville in Superman Doom. Meaning that right now they have powers thanks to Brainiac. Either way is Superman saying, I have no choice. I have to knock out the people so my mind is actually clear so I'll be able to actually save my friend Toyman. Which he does all of that, except when he does go towards Toyman and actually pulls him out of the portal, something else is also pulled out with Toyman as well. Some kind of very huge creature. And technically right now, this huge creature is using Toyman as a host, as a way to communicate with the people of Smallville, to communicate with Superman. Now that's also the moment where we do see this creature come out and begin the process of just coming out into Smallville completely. Now, with that being said, we also see the mist right now getting bigger, which means that right now, except being Smallville, is beginning the process of expanding to other towns nearby Smallville as well. Because we do see some children who are right on the outside also getting pulled in as well. But now we see this creature right now is just releasing a bunch of other creatures into Smallville and saying, are you scared now? Now, when we jump into the third chapter of this storyline, we actually do get another flashback. Technically, this is a nightmare because it is Clark right now dreaming once again about the wildfires in his past. Except at the end of his nightmare this time, he's right now confronted by some kind of monster who came out of the wildfires. Now, as soon as Clark has saw the monster, so did Lana Lang. And right now you have Lana trying her best to technically save Clark. The problem is though, as soon as she opens up the doors, well, that is the moment she's hit with a huge amount of flames. And so we're left to believe that she got really hurt. But this also tells us this is a nightmare, because if this did happen in the past, it would still affect Lana in the present day, which right now we know it doesn't. Either way, this right here tells us Clark did see something in the past, some kind of monster. Now, once you have Clark wake up, he realizes he's right now in the middle of the cornfields, but he's no longer wearing his Superman outfit, and that right there is very concerning. Now, he then hears a loud scream, and this scream right now is coming from his old house, but that scream is actually Lana Lang right now calling out for help. And so you do have you have Superman. I'm calling him Smallville on accident because apparently I watch too much Superman TV shows and read too many Superman books, because Lois Lane calls it Smallville sometimes. Either way, right now, you do have Clark realize that Lana needs his help. And so he does run over to where she's at. And right now, he sees her being pulled in some kind of portal by a bunch of tentacles. Now, he does try to fly towards her to be able to actually save her. The problem is, though, the reality around him begins to change in a way where he keeps trying to get closer and closer, but unfortunately, he's being pulled back farther and farther away to the point where she just disappears. And so Lana is now gone, it seems like forever. But that is the moment where you have Clark hear another set of voices in the house. And of course, these voices actually belong to the Kents, his parents, his Earth parents. Now, this is huge because Clark knows that his parents are dead, which means right now, this is not real. But at the same time, he has no choice but to play along. And so when he goes into the kitchen, he is confronted by his parents. They're just zombies right now, just like how Lana Lang parents were in the first chapter. And so right now is Clark wondering what in the world is going on. Now, this is where things get a tad bit crazier, because you now have the zombie versions of Clark parents right now, the Kents, talking to Clark and saying, "We were always scared of you. We were always worried about you." Now, we know that is technically not completely true. Partially, yes, but not completely true. And what I mean by that is the Kents were worried about the idea of his powers, but at the same time, they still had that faith in their son and realized that their son is going to grow up and become a hero, not a bad guy. Use his powers for good, not evil. And so with that being said, is Clark realizing that this is a huge lie, but at the same time he's wondering if this is true, because right now his parents are technically bringing up different moments in the past that only they should know about, which means somehow the creature was able to access the memories of the Kents to be able to play mind games on Clark. And that right there is huge. But then out of nowhere, you have Lana appear again, but right now she is being controlled by the creature we saw earlier, who's right now also controlling the zombie versions of the Kents. Now you do have Clark begin the process of actually attacking this creature. Now here's the thing though, because while he's doing that, he's begging now for the creature to let Lana go. Because he's all like, listen, I know you're after me. I know you want me. But with the creature using Lana's body as a way to communicate to Clark, you have the creature say, oh, my poor boy, Clark, this right here is not all about you. I mean, yes, part of it is, but at the same time, I like her fears as well. And of course, the creature right now is talking about Lana. Now that right there tells us that this whole idea right now is happening in Smallville is playing off the fears of the people. Superman, Lana, and the people of Smallville. And so right now is Superman realizing now, one, he lost Lana again because the creature did disappear, but at the same time the creature did use his own parents against him. Now you have Clark get so angry, he does release a huge amount of heat vision towards the roof of his house, but then he flies out with the dead bodies of his parents to hopefully rebury them once again. But this is Clark right now, so ticked off, but at the same time he's scared. And the reason why, because he feels like he's about to lose Lana Lang. Now, Superman is able to actually regroup with Toyman and also Steel, and there are also a bunch of children there as well. But right now you have our heroes wondering what in the world can they do to fix all of this mess. Now here's the problem though, because while you have Steel right now talking to Clark about the idea that this new creature has his hands on Lana right now, and they have no idea where the creature had taken Lana to, they're trying to figure out how in the world they're going to find the creature and Lana. Except that is the moment you did have some small, weird, squishy creatures appear on the back of everybody in the area. So Toyman, Superman, Steel, and also the children as well. Now these little creatures have already attached themselves to the bodies of our characters here, but unfortunately they're so hard to remove. And when you try, you technically do get a feedback, an electric shock that technically hurts you. And so right now, it's our heroes realizing that right now, these creatures are not going to come off so easily. Except that is the moment our heroes are then confronted by the older people who had earlier used their powers as a way to attack the mind of Superman. And so this is where we get our info dump. Now, when it comes to our info dump, it's right now the older people telling Superman, this is what you need to know. So let us explain. So what happened was, technically, after Brainiac had attacked us and have put us in comas, we all gained psychic abilities. But then we use our abilities as a way to keep a certain portal closed. Now that portal came from the Phantom Zone. Now the question is right now, why is there a random portal to the Phantom Zone here in Smallville? And we come to find out because of Doomsday. See, back in Superman Doomed, Doomsday had the ability to teleport all over the Earth. Now, when he did that, he was using the Phantom Zone as a way to teleport all over the Earth. And so right now they're telling Superman, because of Doomsday, he left one portal open here in Smallville. And right now, another creature, the main bad guy of this book right here, is trying to come out of the Phantom Zone. But when it comes to this creature, it gets stronger and stronger because of fear. It feeds off your fear. And right now, it's feeding off you and Lana. But the problem is though, Superman, you have a huge amount of fear. And because of that, this creature is not going to stop until it is actually able to get out of the Phantom Zone to feed on you. Now, when it comes to these older people, they want to go ahead and close the portal, but you have Clark say no. And the reason why? Because Lana is right now with that creature. Now, for the older people, they're like, hey, that is a fair sacrifice. We lose one person, but we save the entire world. So honestly, how right now is that a bad thing to actually do? But while you have everybody talking to one another, well, that is the moment where you actually do have the creature just reappear. And right now, it's getting bigger and bigger by feeding off the people who are right now scared in Smallville. And that right there is very huge, because when it came to the people of Smallville, they were able to make sure not to show fear, so that the creature would not be able to actually feed off their fear. But right now, Lana is giving the creature a huge amount of fear. But right now, the creature is sensing Superman. And right now, it wants Superman fear as well to feed off of. And so this is going to lead into the final chapter of this storyline. Because right now, the creature is technically almost all the way here in Smallville. But when we get into the final chapter of the storyline, well, that is the moment where we actually do pick up right now with a lot going on. Because you do have the people who do have the abilities of being a psychic right now, trying to close the portal that leads into the Phantom Zone, but to make sure that creature is not able to actually come into the real world. But at the same time though, you also have people right now who are being affected by the creature, who are trying to prevent the other people from closing the portal. Now you also have Superman and Steel wanting to go inside to save Lana, but right now their minds are being attacked by the psychics, who want to make sure that the portal does close. And so right now you have a lot going on in the opening pages of the 4th chapter. Now that is the moment where you do have still being able to disrupt the powers of the psychic so that Superman and him are able to actually go inside the portal. And hopefully they're fast enough to save Lana and bring her back into the real world, but to also defeat the creature right now who's trying to come into the real world. Now, once the two heroes have actually made it inside the new area of the Phantom Zone, well, that is the moment where you actually have Superman say, we have to make sure that we are actually able to control our emotions, because right now, if we show any kind of fear, the creature is only going to get stronger. Now, with that being said though, you then have Steel say, you know what, I have an idea. Because with my organic steel, I'm able to actually control my heart rate. But at the same time, I can give you part of my organic steel to technically make you literally the Man of Steel right now, but at the same time, help you control your heart rate as well, so that you're able to not show so much fear so the creature cannot feed off of it. Now, once Superman and Steel are able to continue on deeper and deeper into the actual Phantom Zone, this new area of the Phantom Zone, well, that is the moment where they do find a bunch of dead bodies. Now, these dead bodies used to be hosts for the creature, meaning that once the host is done feeding off of you, you're technically dead. You're just a pile of bones, which means that right now, this could be an actual future for Lana Lane. And so right now, you have Superman and also Steel trying their best to hurry up and actually find her. Now, when they do find her, this is the moment where you have Superman say, how do I know you? Like, where did you come from? Where did we first met? And then you have the creature say, think back to the wildfires when you were a young boy in the middle of the fields, right outside of your school. And so then you have the creature finally tells us what is its actual name. It tells us its name is the Ultra Humanite. And we kind of find out that the Ultra Humanite has been trying its best to actually come into this world a long time ago. Matter of fact, a couple of days before it had actually confronted a young Clark Kent. And what I mean by that is there was a farmer who was out there trying to find his lost chicken. And because of the fear that farmer had, the creature was able to actually get a small taste of that fear, but didn't realize that this world is full of people that has constant fear. And so, of course, the creature wanted to come into this world. Now, when it tried a second time, it was confronted by a young Clark Kent. When it met the young Clark Kent, it realized that young Clark Kent has a lot of fear. So much fear, it could actually fuel the monster for days, months, or years. And so, of course, the creature definitely wanted to get its hands on the young Clark Kent. Unfortunately, young Clark was able to kind of get rid of the creature back into the Phantom Zone. Now, we're not told how in the world this creature got into the Phantom Zone, but apparently it was put in the Phantom Zone. But when it comes to the Ultra Humanite, it does say that when Doomsday began the process of just teleporting all over the earth, and of course left one portal open here in Smallville, this was my perfect chance to actually come into the world to begin the process of feeding off different people left and right. Now that is the moment where you have Superman being able to actually get contacted by one of the people that has psychic abilities, that is right now telling him you have to kill off the actual creature, the Ultra Humanite. You have to kill it off, because once you do that, then technically everybody will be freed and the day will be saved. But here's the thing though, Superman does not want to be a killer, but at the same time, he still wants to save Lana. Now that is the moment where you actually have Lana begin to actually talk to Clark by saying, let me die, because technically you cannot save everybody. Now here's the thing though, this is Lana right now kind of speaking out of hate, because remember, her parents died because of Doomsday / Brainiac, because again, coming after Superman. And so because of that, she kind of blames him for the death of her parents. But at the same time though, she's saying, you can't save everybody, like you couldn't save my family. So go ahead and let me go, because you need to save the world, not me. Now that is the moment where you have Clark say, no, there is another way to save you, but also save the Earth as well. And so what Superman actually did was, he said, you know what, if you want to feed off my fear, go ahead and feed off of me. And that right there is actually very important, because when it comes to Superman, this man has so much fear that he's actually able to conquer the hunger of this creature by just his emotions. That's how much fear Superman has. And because of that, of course, it begins the process of actually stopping the creature. Now, when it comes to the creature, it's kind of like going into a slumber. But again, with Superman right now just feeding the creature all these different kind of fears that he has in his mind, the creature is no longer hungry. Now, when it comes to his fears, it's all about the idea of losing different people he actually cares for, but at the same time, losing the entire Earth. Now, this is actually very important, because we actually saw this in Night Terrors when it came to Superman, because he had two fears, and one of the fears he had was watching the entire Earth just fall apart, being gone completely, and then he was left alone in the world. And so right now, this is actually very similar to that story right there. Either way, you actually have Clark being able to defeat the creature. Lana's now free, and him and Steel and Lana are able to actually go back to Earth now. And really, the story kind of ends on that note right there, because right after you do have our heroes being able to actually come back to Earth, of course, you then have our new psychics use their abilities as a way to close the portal. But with the portal being closed, of course, the mist goes away. The day is saved. Now, the next page, we do see Clark and Lana right now technically reburying the bodies of their parents, because their parents were used as a way to actually scare them. Either way, you then have Lana realize that what she was doing to Clark was actually very wrong, by saying that, listen, I know what you heard. I know what you heard me say, but technically I realize that you have so much more on your plate. You're carrying so much more weight than I am. But at the same time, I realize I should not be blaming you for the death of my family. Brainiac, yes. Doomsday, yes. But you know. And you're also my best friend. And so they do make up, and the book ends on that note right there. So with that being said, guys, please leave me a like down below and subscribe. But guys, see y'all next time. Later.